What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today I just got back home from vacation and we're going to unbox an Uber Ultra amount of guitar gear. Get it? Do you get it? Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you are doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle and what I typically do is I typically take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar gear, I record it with a simple setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. And if you are familiar with my channel at all, then you will know that I am constantly getting new gear in and out the door here at Belligerent Amateur Studios. So I recently took a 5-day vacation with my fiance, went out to visit some friends out in Denver, Colorado, crossed a couple of activities off my bucket list by getting to hike the Rocky Mountain National Park. And I am super blown out. Why am I so blown out right now? But when I returned home, I had a whole smorgasbord, that's right, that's the word I'm going with, of boxes waiting in my living room for me and all sorts of gear to share with you guys. So I figured, why not do it together? There is quite literally a ridiculous amount of gear here, so I'm gonna try to keep this succinct. And the piece that we're gonna save for the very end is something that you guys are definitely going to be uber excited about. You suck! So with that being said, let's start off with the very first piece. We're gonna do these next two items rapid fire. I actually had to unbox one of them because the box was hilariously, comically oversized and actually would not fit down my basement stairwell. And then the other one was actually something that didn't come in a box. I got it right before I left to hop on a flight for Denver and didn't get to share it with you guys. So the first item is this beat up Peavey JSX amplifier. You guys know, huge Peavey fan here, huge James Brown fan here. The JSX, no exception to that rule. This is a fantastic amplifier. This is like the only one of the Ultra series that I seem to buy and sell. Every time I get them, I forget how much I love them, and then they sit because I always kind of gravitate towards the XXX when I'm going to the Ultra series when I need to use an Ultra series amplifier. But no Peavey collection is complete without this amplifier, and I have not done a dedicated JSX review yet, so I will make sure to do that for you guys sometime here in the next 5 years or so. All right guys, next up is an amp that I didn't even know that I wanted or cared about until I plugged it in for the first time, and now I am severely angry at myself for waiting this long to check it out. And that is the Bogner Ecstasy. The one that I got was the 20th anniversary edition. This is the 101B with 6L6 power tubes. From what I have been told, Mark Lewis said that he likes the EL34 because it's a little bit more aggressive. And apparently when Bogner makes different amps with different tubes, they give them different characteristics as well. So it's not just the tubes that are changing, it's the transformers and some of the internal circuitry from what I understand. But yeah, I got this amp as part of a package deal, had no intentions of keeping it whatsoever until I plugged it in. And this is kind of one of those like GOAT tier list of amplifiers. I've just never been a huge Bogner fan, so I never really sought it out. And from what I could gather from like plugins and stuff like that, it seemed like more of a rock amplifier. Didn't really feel like it was gonna fit my style all that well. But again, as soon as I plugged this thing in, that kind of changed everything for me. It also doesn't hurt that I have the matching full stack for this amplifier the way that it is designed here. So yeah, I'm gonna end up keeping this. We're gonna get a full review of this amplifier in the near future. I am really blown away by this thing. I really dig it. So yeah, if that's something you guys were looking for, great. All right guys, so I'm not even sure what's in this box. I have not checked the packing list on it. It could be one of two things. This is a Guitar Center pack job, so it was very bad, per usual. But as you can see, it's an orange. And this is an orange amplifier that I've actually never played for myself before, but I have high hopes. And it is the Orange Rocker 15 Terror. This is, I thought I put that on mute, good Lord. This is a 15 watt 2-channel amplifier. I've never played one of these before, but you guys know that I am slowly but surely falling in love with orange gear. The more I play, the more I really dig it. So this came up at a great price. Figured I would snag it, at least if for anything other than putting words together bad, for getting a little demo on the channel. But I have high hopes for this thing because everything orange that I have played so far, I've absolutely loved. So this next one comes from a fellow YouTuber. You may or may not know him. He goes by the name Agufish. And I actually think that this amp is Really cool that I will be the owner now and probably forever, because I have wanted one of these amplifiers for a very long time, pretty much ever since I saw Hunter's video on it a long time ago. This was way before I had ever even thought about becoming a YouTuber. This was before Hunter and I became homies. So when he told me he was letting this amp go, I initially said, I'm interested, but you should sell it to somebody else because these things have gone up quite a bit in value and I'm trying to find a deal on one. He ended up packing it up for the guy, and then the guy ghosted him, no-showed him. So it was just sitting in a box, and he told me it was back up for sale. He named his price, which I said, that's more than fair to me, so let's go ahead and let's do it. Hunter was even nice enough to throw in a little Sweetwater pamphlet so it makes it seem like I'm getting a new piece of gear. That was very thoughtful of you, Hunter. And this amplifier is the Jet City JCA 100 HDM. This amp is essentially a 100 watt depth modded amp with a 50 and 100 watt switch, designed by Mike Soldano himself and built in China. A lot of the people on my channel already know the Jet City stuff because you guys know that I love it and I think that it's a fantastic value on the used market. It's a fantastic value when it came out new. So I have wanted the depth modded version of this amplifier for quite some time. I have the 50 and I have the 100, but now I've got the 100 HDM, which I think is by far the best looking version of the amplifier as well. That depth mod is sorely needed on any Soldano or Jet City amplifiers because they definitely lack in the low end department without it. But yeah, this was a big part of Hunter's channel history. I've been a big fan of Hunter's stuff for a long time. So it's really cool that we became homies and I got the opportunity to buy this amp off of him. So he got the amp new and now it's probably gonna be with me forever, because even if I don't mod it, my plan is to do some really cool mods to this amplifier to make it kind of punch even further above its price range. But of course, before we do that, we will get a standard belligerent amateur demo of this thing on the channel because I've wanted one of these things and you guys have actually asked for this quite a bit on the channel. So huge shout to the homie Hunter for selling this to me. Super happy to have this as part of my collection. But now it is time for the piece which I think pretty much everybody has been waiting for. You guys see the name on that box? Yep, it's what you think it is. All right, so real quick before I pull this out, that's what she said, I'm gonna humble brag. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I posted about this amplifier a couple weeks ago on my Facebook account. These have been out of stock everywhere pretty much since they've been released, and they are really hard to get your hands on. So I made a post saying, I really want to demo this thing, so if anybody has a lead on one, let me know. About a week after that post, I got a message in my Facebook inbox from Reinhold Bogner, the Reinhold Bogner of Bogner. He's the Bogner in Bogner. I replied and said, hey man, super interested in checking out the Bogner Uber Ultra because Reinhold asked me if I was trying to get a hold of one. So he gave me his phone number and we had a quick chat. He told me that he was a big fan of the channel, which absolutely just floors me. Like, it blows my mind that the manufacturers of some of the most sought after, some of the most well-designed amps in the world, number one, know who I am, but are a fan of what I do here on the channel. It's incredible to me. So yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for the support, because this stuff doesn't happen without you guys watching the channel and without you guys asking for these demos. You know, some people even message these companies direct and say, hey, you should send stuff to Kyle for a demo, which blows me away. And in many cases, like, the companies have reached out because of you guys. So I just wanted to extend my sincere thanks to you guys, the audience, my belligerent amateurs out there. We've come so far in such a short amount of time, and stuff like this still just blows me away when it happens. I'm like getting emotional right now because it's just thinking about where I was a couple years ago. My life is just so much better than I ever could have imagined. So with that being said, let's get back to the amps. The moment you've all been waiting for. That's right, guys. It's the Bogner Uber Ultra. This is like the hottest new amp on the high gain boutique amp circuit. Everybody has been asking me to demo this thing, but they are incredibly hard to get a hold of. So the fact that Bogner was willing to send out one to me in order for me to make some content for you guys here on the channel just means the absolute world to me. Reinhold, if you see this, Thank you very much, man. I seriously appreciate this more than you know. But yeah, huge moment for the channel. Hope that you guys are happy. You guys have been asking me relentlessly to demo this amplifier. Now, we're not gonna plug in any of these other amps, but I wanna hear this thing for myself. So we're gonna get a quick first impression chug of this amplifier. Let's do that. All right, guys, so we have the Uber Ultra hooked up through the Mesa 412 cab. Had to make sure I grabbed my favorite guitar, the Bogner Typhon with the Seymour Duncan distortion in the bridge. We've got an SM57 on, that Vintage 30 in the Mesa cabinet, and I can already tell you this amp rips. So I'm gonna show you two tones. I just spent about half an hour messing with it. I'm gonna show you two tones real quick, one unboosted and one boosted. So the unboosted tone, we are on the Uber Ultra channel setting. This is the higher gain channel. We are on the Ultra setting. We are on the tight setting. The focus is in the middle. I have no boost on in front of this amplifier. And here's what we got. So right off the bat, the amp, super punchy, but you guys can probably hear, it is a little bit noisy. We definitely have a lot of hiss coming through the speakers. I am going to need to use a gate in the loop of this thing for sure, because it's definitely got some hiss going on. But if you can look past that, the tone of the amplifier, no boost on whatsoever, is seriously super rad, super punchy, percussive low end. I don't feel the need for a boost in order to tighten this thing whatsoever. Now, one thing I will say, I think that this amp will sound better through a 16 ohm V30 loaded cabinet. The Mesa, very rolled off on the top end compared to a lot of other 16 ohm V30 cabinets. So I think that this thing is going to bond with a 16 ohm cabinet much better. It just so happens that I have a couple of 16 ohm Bogner cabinets. But yeah, the stock tone with no boost, the percussiveness, the quickness with which it reacts to your right hand, super good. Like, I had a lot of fun dialing in that tone. So we're gonna go to another tone where I'm actually gonna boost this thing. One thing I was worried about, amps that typically are so tight that they don't need a boost out front, they don't sound good when you add a boost in. Now me, I'm gonna boost every amplifier every chance I get, because it's the way that I like to shape my tone. Going into the amplifier and the overall tone, it can make a huge difference. So if you get something like, say, an older angle where it's so tight and so compressed that adding a boost only makes it sound worse, that's a huge turnoff for me. I can tell you that is not the case with this amplifier whatsoever. So let's jump over to the actual Uber gain setting, and I'm gonna click on the King in Yellow, and I'm gonna dial the amp just a little bit, and you guys are gonna hear how well this amp takes a boost. that is so good. That's gonna do it for me on this unboxing. I can't even make words because this thing sounds seriously so good. It's so punchy in the bass, like the palm mutes are so percussive. It still has that signature Bogner lower mid thing going on, but it's not in a way where you can't tighten it up and get the amp to sound super punchy. I'm impressed already. I can't wait to spend some more time with this amp. Definitely gonna pump it through a 16 ohm V30 loaded cabinet. I think that it's really gonna shine. But as of right now, even what you guys are hearing, I'm really digging it. So thanks for joining me for this unboxing, guys, and let me know what you thought about the tone out of this amp. Let me know if you guys wanna see those other amps on the channel. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe on your way out, and if you want to help the channel, go and visit those Zounds and Sweetwater affiliate links in the description of this video. They greatly help out. And if you want to get one of these bad boys on order, make sure to hit that affiliate link and get it done through Sweetwater. And a huge thanks to all of my Patreon members who support the channel directly. If you want to put your name on this list of fine people, make sure to click that Patreon link down in the description of this video. Consider joining up and supporting the channel. Everything you guys put into that Patreon account goes back into making more and better content for you guys here, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Kyle here again. I'm gonna get out of here because I'm just gonna play this amp some more. Bye!
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.